musical moment. What do we do? Or what's important in this moment? Your star cello player wants to play on the football team. Is talking about dropping out of orchestra.
Oh no! So I think those are both very nice. I think you're a star.
So don't believe him. So let me get a thought on this or recommendation. What say you? Alana. So she says check in with parents. I agree. I think getting parents involved in the conversation quickly is key, and work out a compromise. Coaches aren't willing to compromise though. In my scenario, anyway.
Go ahead.
Try and make friends with the athletic director as soon as you get hired in the school.
All about networking. Well, you know.
It is, and my feeling is that one of the worst things we can do in this situation is put the learner in the middle. Is to make it a tug of war between the conductor and the football coach. The two adults should handle it together, but if it needs to go further than that, also this is taking class time. You should have been notified, and there's if this is coming out of class time, you should have been notified ahead of time. There should have been some sort of, there's rarely a football emergency. and just out of respect for what you're doing, and there's a way to approach the coach or the athletic director or even the principal to say, hey, look, there was a real disruption to my class, and I would like to see if we can work out a way where we can smooth this over. Just let the adults work together and talk to each other. It'll make a big difference in sort of your standing in the school as well, which is important because you want them to respect your work as much as you should respect theirs. But don't put the students in the middle.
Work with the coaches to find a compromise. Talk to the coach to alternate. That's another compromise. Communicate about what's going on, your performance, your competition schedule. Be as encouraging as you can to the student. Have the coaches watch High School Musical.
Hey, I've got one. I have one on that. So when I was a high school teacher in Pennsylvania, in northern Pennsylvania, I announced all the track meets. I also ran with the cross-country team. And the athletic director played in the faculty jazz band. So we were super close. That is completely rare, just saying. But we also had lunch duty together, and we also had hall duty together, and we requested it. And it made a massive difference in the lives of students. Because prior to me, it was the band director was mad at the athletic director all the time. And the athletic director also played in the holiday handbell choir. So, totally not normal though. Don't believe what Alex told me.
You're a star. I can't believe it, Dr.
We need to end soon with him because we got other things to do.
Okay, my last point on that topic is knowledge is power. So know your school schedule inside and out.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Know your school schedule. Be friends with the counselors.
Be on the scheduling committee.
I thought you were going to say get some dirt on the athletic director.
Wrap up?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to wrap up by playing the beginning up until 21, and then we're going to have fun. about when we play this piece again, what's one thing we did over the past 15 minutes that made you sound better? One thing you will do from now until the next time you play it that will continue to make it sound better? And one thing you think that we've came in and we're already doing well. Think about these in your head. Thank you. And I'm so glad we had music class today. Have fun again.
Win that game.
Oh, and you get the winning touchdown, don't worry.
Wait, touchdown to football?
You made it.
I'm not kidding.
Nets.
Happy got a home run.
Did you get a home run in football?
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Oh, yeah. I like.
Someone's gonna get this game.
Are there, Alex, I'm gonna sit so people can see.
How did that feel, Alex, having a larger orchestra and having half of the orchestra, or more than half of the orchestra, sight reading?
It was different. What I felt the biggest difference is, at least this year, I've been an older planner in my lessons, and I've never gone into a lesson without, like, I wasn't thinking about it before I went up. I just did a rehearsal and addressed what I thought might need to be addressed, but, like, basically addressed what I was hearing. And it felt different, but not necessarily in a bad way. To have not went in with concrete ideas of exactly the exercise I was going to run with different sections.
That absolutely happens on a daily basis, folks. Lesson planning and all of that goes out the window when you realize that your orchestra has shown up and half of them are very sad because something tragic might have happened in their homeroom. Or 7 of them had a really bad physics test, and here they come into your room. Holy cow, you've got to be on the fly with just about everything, and that calls us to be excellent artists, right? And as excellent artists, we have to bring every power that we have, every superpower that we have, to the orchestra, chorus, band, jazz band, general music classroom. And that takes years to develop. I'm still developing them. I mean, you all have the experience of seeing a lot of these professors who you have at BU as people who have not been full-time professors at a university until BU. And so we're, even as experienced teachers, are learning, right, all of these tricks along the way. I wanted to return to Alex. Would you tell us what you told, just briefly, what you said to the students prior to starting music? Something about your fears in a jar, put it in your pocket,
So,
something.
in my very first lesson, the do now was to write down one thing you were really excited for about lab or learning string instruments, and one thing that we were scared of, one thing that was a fear. And then we ripped them in half, and we had them we kept the positive thoughts in the room, that's the reasons we were all here, and we put all the negative thoughts into my fear jar, which I then took outside the room and put in the hallway, then promised for all of the lab episodes going forward that I would keep it in my dorm, and that would be my jar, and not theirs, because I, as their teacher, am going to help make those fears not hold us back, and also make those fears not really exist in our safe space in the classroom.
I like a lot of what you have to say. I think that we, as teachers, have the potential to assuage fear, right? But we also have the potential to acknowledge fear. And I think that's what you do when you say, here's this piece of paper, put one thing on one side, one on the other, tear it in half, and take that thing and put it somewhere. One place where I might counter is that jar might stay in the room, because it doesn't really ever leave us. Would you allow me to read something that I wrote? Yes. I know it feels a little bit like navel-gazing and narcissism, so I don't intend it so to be, but this was some of the hardest writing I've ever done. Because when we write about ourselves, we have to open doors that may be painful, that create fear, or that are fear, right? I don't know how to grieve. I've never been brave enough or courageous enough to face the demons that might pop out of my suitcase. I did not notice that my country was lost, that my name and nationality were taken from me, that my mother and my homeland were lost. Where are they? They aren't in the bottom of my bag. Quote, leave your baggage at the door, unquote. That is what my school music teachers told me before band and chorus rehearsals. I contend, however, that music does not always begin from a baggage-free journey or from silence. It oftentimes emerges from the clutter and chaos of our circumstances. Music making is informed by all the things we carry, the pebbles collected and the people met along our pathways of a life in progress, make our musical experiences dance with vitality. While I have always struggled to unpack my baggage for the fear of discovering a horrible truth about some mysterious past, the act of music teaching has cleared a space for me to invite students and research friends to consider their baggage, unpack it, and use everything contained inside to inform their artistry. In this chapter, I too will attempt to unpack some of the contents of my baggage as a way to illuminate how displacement informs my practice of music education. Now, as you know, that's my research area, is music education and displacement. And I go on to talk about how through some of our baggage is really fun baggage, right? Like, I own, I think, 16 bags. I really don't need 16 bags, but I'm addicted to bags. Just saying, everybody. So if you, and the sparklier, the better. I don't have any sparkly bags, so if anybody's interested, sparkly bags, coffee, that's me. But the point is that we carry stuff around, and some of it is joyful. Use it. Some of it is horrible. Use it. And artists, as artists, we have the potential to take all of these crazy things and illuminate every one of them so that they pop. And it becomes this sparkle in the sky. Right? And it's like pixie dust dwelling amongst you in the orchestra that goes into the audience, goes into our communities, throughout our schools, because we radiate the things that we are. We radiate the things who we are. Every moment. Your personhood matters, and what you carry in that fancy Gucci bag, or that Michael Kors handbag, or your big-ass carpet bag, then that's what you bring. It's a banquet. Every rehearsal is a banquet. Every rehearsal is star-studded with the best and the worst things. Think about the last potluck you went to, and Aunt Myrtle brought fruitcake. But it makes the banquet. Because if Aunt Myrtle didn't bring her fruitcake, it wouldn't be the banquet, it wouldn't be the sing. A couple announcements. We have 1 minute. Thank you, everybody, for that. And thank you, Alex, for your work. And thank you, Brendan, for your work today. I'll post this in an announcement, the weekly announcements, but the lesson plan assignment, the listening essay assignment, both of which are pretty easy. Episodes 3 and 4 are coming. There is a schedule adjustment to accommodate for people who will not be returning after Turkey Day. Peer teaching, there's 1 more peer teaching and 4 playing tests remaining. Grading will be done. It will absolutely be done. So if you are still waiting for grades, that is on us, your instructors and TAs. That grading will be done.
Can I interrupt just for 30 seconds? Not
Yes.
even less than 50. Because we are cross-sectioning in lab and we're not grading our own sections, if there's something that you're missing from one of us that you think should be there, please don't hesitate to ask. Reach out and say, hey, I don't have a grade for this. It may be something I overlooked or missed, especially being new to all of this.
They are right.
So please don't hesitate to reach out and say, hey, can you look at this?
Yes, that is totally true.